How do you get the patience? The thing that you guys all have, I can't figure it out, is your patience with things.
Well, if you enjoy the process, it's not, there's really, patience is not an issue.
Okay. George is got actually...
It's a 50 caliber.
And this was off the aircraft?
Yes, it was one of the two that was off the aircraft. It was up in the front there, and they had a 30 in the back. And so what we're doing is showing the process of restoration. So
with you.
George is somebody I really wanted you to look at because this is going to be fantastic.
Now, what we do is, since a lot of the parts are either prohibitively expensive or we can't get them, we've gone to 3D printing some of the parts. We're trying to set it up so it looks like it's a real gun, and then we're in the process of painting the different parts of it so that when you look at it, we'll have a sign here that says this is as found.
Of course, he's going to get this all done, and the federal guys are going to come along and can't confiscate it because it's a real
machine gun.
The only way this is going to hurt you is if you drop it on your foot or you get tetanus because you touch the
You cut yourself.
on that dirty
Those are the
metal.
two dangers. The plan, at least what I'd like to see, is that we have a 50 caliber building
Okay.
that actually looks a lot better than the 670, right? So it's over by the B-25 Mitchell.
Yep.
And so I'm hoping we can actually put that near it so that people can see, oh, this is what it was supposed to look like, and then this is the restoration.
Well, there's something about 50 caliber machine gun that gets people's attention. He told me, he said, well, from here to here is a piece of sonotube, and from here to here is a piece of glass that I bought at Home Depot. It looks good in the movies, but there's a little something to that.
That's why you get the 100% raise every year.
I was told, and everybody said, you got to come on Thursdays, because that's when things really cook around here.
Because, man, it amazes me how much shit they can put in these airplanes.
Unbelievable what we did as a country.
Well, they were probably making these every hour one.
Yeah.
I think B-17 was like that, something like that. Every couple hours or something, they had another one.
One of our members just died. He was 98. Did they tell you about him?
At that age, once you go to the hospital, it's
Hard
gonna
to come
be
out.
bad.
Like you guys, this is just for me a passion to find people that enjoy aviation and doing things to advance it, whatever it may be. If you're working on planes or you're flying planes, you're doing something and it helps the bigger picture. Want to tell the story, and because people just wouldn't see what you guys are doing here, just for fun, and I have a great time doing it, and I get the pleasure of experiencing that.
Basically what I do is we try to retain as much of the aircraft as we possibly can. So we'll end up repairing parts, and I'm going to weld this back together and try to get it so it's functional again. I'll do the welding and fabrication. I'm currently building a Fokker triplane. Very dangerous to fly. I have an engine in the museum right now that's a 1917 Lerone. It's old, original engine. I think it's 1918, sorry. 1918.
Okay.
It's a rotary engine that spins with a propeller. A lot of the kids today don't know who the Red Baron is or was.
Right.
He was the top ace of World War I.
Right.
Yeah. So, had 80 victories. A lot of them were balloons. So, but the point is every time you complete something that you've never done before, and you're like, oh, that worked and it's beautiful and it's working. It's just that satisfaction you get. A lot of people get a real high off that.
Everyone does, because you can't get an appreciation for the true spirit of what's happening here without seeing it and having conversations with you guys. Everything about it is unique. I guess it's just that continued loving the process.
Well, it's not just, obviously it's the process, but it's also the people, You develop a bunch of really good friendships here, and you're supporting those people and they appreciate it.
But when I see Greg and his approach, he is sort of the secret sauce that allows it to happen. He doesn't, he makes it happening by just allowing it to happen. Yeah.
I mean, just the fact that we are producing something that will remind people of history. It's just, we're retaining it, we're restoring this history that's so important.
It's over the top.
It was Manager at a company for 30 years, ran an automotive company, and I said, I'll volunteer as long as you don't put me in charge of anything.
First of all, you have to make everything you don't have.
Right.
You don't go down to the parts store.
No. eBay doesn't carry it.
Oh man, it is so fascinating to see the different pieces made, and how everything. If anything's missing, you got to make it.
On the Wildcat, it was a shotgun start, which was really neat. Boom.
Yeah,
So,
boom.
You know,
And get the
slide of
cylinders.
the intruder all over again.
Exactly.
And then when they're like sitting on the ground or whatever, they want to get a more airflow through it. They crank them open so the prop's actually pushing more air through it. And then when they're up high, or it's really cold, they can. So if somebody that worked on these open this up, they go, yep,
Wow.
that's right.
That's right.
So even if they're not going to see that, we wanted to make it right.
Yeah, don't hurry it.
And they go, who's going to see that? Well,
Yeah,
it's like the gas tanks. We want to make sure those are right, put them in.
Unbelievable family.
Everybody works good together.
The PBY is large. The horizontal stabilizer, the tail, is 30 feet long. It's amazing.
It's as big as a 172
It's bigger
wing.
than my RV. So instead of spending all that time learning how to do that, we filled this with foam. We're going to fiberglass this.
You know, and what I've noticed and what I've learned today, which you guys have taught me in a short order here, is that it's about bringing, first of all, it's about using what you have. Keep using as much of the original product as possible.
Much as possible.
Two, it's if you have to replace, make sure it looks as natural as the day it came off the factory line.
And when we reskinned that is airwood. It is solid. We repaired the ribs, all new skin.
But what I've come to learn is that that's not the important part. The important part is that you know it's right, and there's value to that, and there's learning to that.
And sometimes when you take that old piece off, it's not flat, it's not straight. So we have somebody, if you notice, they stand on it. So we call him Bigfoot. I've been here 9 years.
Okay.
And it's a blast for me. I built my own aircraft. And after that,
You were telling, you've got it right there. 247 Bravo Whiskey.
that's it. It's an RV7. And after finishing it, I love doing it so much, I wanted to build another one. But instead of building another one, I just come in and play with theirs. So it's a great relationship between the Air Zoo and flying locally.
It's all, I mean, everything, you folks have done such a nice job of integrating the airport, the museums, the restoration, the education, the community. It all just, you've got it all lined up.
And that whole time, I wanted my own airplane and thought, I want to build one. When you go to the hangar in the morning, you know how much gas is in it, your headsets are ready to go.
Yeah.
You put it away, actually, you pre-flight and put it away.
All right.
So next time you're ready to jump in and go.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
But the culture you have here is not something that didn't happen, one, by accident. First of all, there's an effort. With every success, there's maybe a couple failures along the way.
And I try to make everyone be aware that when you build an airplane, you build it 3 or 4 times. You're always putting it together, taking it apart, checking this, drilling that, finishing this, and then you may not like it. You're going to do it again because you want it right. You want it to be safe. And that's going to happen here too. And we don't care if they made it 5 times.
Yeah.
The important thing is you got it, and you know that it's going to be easier on the next one.
I asked a question as I was coming through with my grandkids, and Chuck sucked me into the light. And I drive 71 miles one way just to come here and do this. You know, so a lot of older folks, but I called it the fountain of youth when I got here because it's like all these older gentlemen, and they're just rocking it.
Okay, we've never done that before. But we figure it out.
Right,
If you got the TO, you look it up. It's not rocket science by any means.
But it was, and there's some stuff, you know, a lot of stuff we use prints, old prints from the 1930s and 40s. But some things, like I was working on that, on the gunner. See in the back, he's got that canopy that opens up and the gun pops up. Well, all the linkage for that and the locks and stuff like that, we didn't have prints for, so had to design it as we go, but just based on a picture.
You know, back there in World War II, they didn't care. It slapped some paint on it to get it off the war. They weren't that critical.
I've been doing this a little over 4 years, and yeah, I'd say 90% painting, at least 90%. The other 10% is figuring out what needs to be painted, what color. You got to be dedicated. You can't stop in the middle of a spray job. I think axle is what they use in the military. It's really tough. It's really tough. Like, it doesn't chip, it doesn't scratch. There's just a lot of variables. We got books, but everyone's a different color in the books. I
Okay.
mean, just completely different colors. There's green ones, there's blue ones, there's silver ones. There's about the only color there ain't is red.
Okay.
So it's interesting because you don't know what you're going to get when you open the can. Raised rivets are a bigger issue than surface area. Raised rivets they slow you down. They
Okay.
really slow you down, as opposed to a flat surface where you can just take your sander and run it across there and get it all at once. You got to go in between the rivet rows. It's like coloring almost. You got to follow the pattern. And even on the smaller stuff, you don't know what's going to inspire a kid.
Right.
So it could be that little helicopter over there. It could be the F-117. It could be just that wing. You never know what a kid sees, so you want to make sure everything looks good for them.
Right.
You want to put some smiles on some kids' faces. So.
You look at it and say, oh, this wing, but look at all the rivets, look at all this. There's some real hours. I mean,
About
I think
2.5
he was
years.
telling me that he thinks, Greg was saying it's going to be 50,000 man hours or something like that. The things that go on that take days just to go to the next step, it fascinates me.